Hello and welcome to an India First special broadcast. I'm Gaurav Sawant. This is not the first time that the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh Sarsanghchalak Mohan Bhagwat is telling Hindus to stop looking for a shivling under every mosque. Now, speaking on the topic of Vishwaguru Bharat at the Sahajivan Vyakhyan Mala in Pune, he's cautioned against creating new controversies over finding temples under mosques across the country. And there are multiple cases apart from Mathura and Kashi and of course Bhodshala and the Harihar Mandir at Sambhal. But there's also a controversy now over Dargah Ajmer Sharif. This has sparked off a massive furor. We discuss that in great detail, but first as always, we bring you this report.
Amid rising Mandir-Masjid disputes, Mohan Bhagwat calls for harmony. The RSS Sarsanghchalak warned aspiring Hindu leaders against stirring up disputes over places of worship across India.
सगळं राम मंदिर झालं पाहिजे ते होत आहे. हिंदूंची श्रद्धास्थान हिंदूंना वाटतं, परंतु असं केलं म्हणजे हिंदूमध्ये नेता होता येतं म्हणून किंवा अतिरेकी भूतकाळाच्या ओझ्याच्या परिणामामुळे अतिरेकी तिरस्कार, द्वेष, शत्रुता, संशय याच्या पोटी रोज एक नवीन प्रकरण काढणे हे कसं चालेल हे नाही चालणार.
Advocating unity, Bhagwat said that the world needs to know Indians can live together.
शेवटी आपण आपलं सोल्युशन काय आहे? जगाला आपल्याला दाखवायचं आहे की आपण सगळे एकत्र नांदू शकतो. आपल्या देशात त्याचा छोटासा प्रयोग झाला पाहिजे. तो प्रयोग करताना आहेत आमच्या या सगळ्यांना सामावून घेणाऱ्या अनेक पंथ संप्रदायांच्या विचारधारा आमच्या इथे आहेत.
Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav took a jibe on Bhagwat, calling the advice a bit too late in the day.
जब 5 लोग मर गए, न जाने कितनों पे झूठे मुकदमे लग गए, न जाने कितनों को अपमानित होना पड़ा है, घरों में पुलिस गई है, महिलाओं के साथ अपमान का व्यवहार हुआ, तब कह रहे हैं कि हर मंदिर को नहीं खोदना चाहिए.
Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, however, endorsed Bhagwat's message of peace.
और वो बिल्कुल ठीक ही कहा. इतिहास तो इतिहास है, बहुत कुछ हुआ है 500 साल पहले. अरे 21वीं शताब्दी में हमारे आज के जनता को कौन तकलीफ दे दे इसके बुनियाद में. मेरे ख्याल में अभी हम भविष्य के बारे में सोचने का वक्त आया है.
Bhagwat's big message of unity comes ahead of a Supreme Court deadline for the Narendra Modi government to give its view on petitions challenging the Places of Worship Act that bars claims on temples and masjids and keeps the status quo as of August 15, 1947. Bureau Report, India Today.
The RSS chief is talking about setting an example for the world to follow when it comes to peaceful coexistence. He clearly insists that this cannot happen if there's a dispute every day after the Ram temple at Ayodhya was settled by courts of law. But how should one read his message and what are the implications, including for law and order? Joining me on India First is Sujata Pandey, a political analyst. Deshrata Nigam is an advocate with the Supreme Court, will give us the Sangh perspective and thinking on this big story. And SP Ved is former DG, Director General of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, for a law and order perspective on the implications of what the RSS chief has said. Deshrata Nigam, I want to begin by asking you, who is the RSS chief hinting at when he says some Indians following the construction of Ram Mandir at Ayodhya are under the impression that they can become leaders of Hindus by raking up such disputes that he finds unacceptable? Which disputes and who are these people?
Well, Gaurav, in fact, Mr. Bhagwat was speaking at a function which was aptly titled as Vishwaguru Bharat, which means India is rising and is on the path to become a developed economy and is going to take its rightful place, which it has already started. So if such kind of claims start coming from every nook and corner, which means the state's resources, money, time, effort going into maintaining the law and order, and otherwise India would get derailed. And therefore the issue is that we must be focusing on our development and the task ahead, which is India has to deliver. And therefore, this is to every person who's trying to, rake up issues here and there. And therefore, there may be people behind such persons who want India to be derailed. We have seen that happening in our border countries and neighboring countries, where issues were raised, and India did take a very clear stand on it. And even the Sangh also took a very clear stand on it.
Sujata Pandey, is the RSS chief implying that after the construction of the Divya Bhavya Navya Ram temple at Ayodhya, forget about other existing disputes and don't rake up new ones?
Actually, Gaurav, let's look at the context, because the context is very important here. He was talking about the Hindu Seva philosophy. And in this particular context, he spoke about the Indian polity also. And then he was talking about how a leader should be, because, we know that there are a lot of turncoats who are using the religion as a basis of just achieving their individual political gains, which is definitely not what the Hindu philosophy believes in. So that's number one. Secondly, he did not mention about any of the old cases which are running. He spoke specifically about the new disputes. So that matter is settled. I think that it goes according to what the Supreme Court has also said it, that no new service will be done until these old matters are resolved. So that's being done. Third very important thing is, I think the Sangh is 100 years old. It's an organization which knows that in order to become the Vishwa Guru, in order to become the economy that we want to become, in order to become a nation which can be an example to the world, it is very important to look at what is happening geopolitically also, what is happening in Bangladesh. It's very important that we get our acts together here as well, because anything wrong here, a wrong narrative will be said. The opposition is just looking for that particular opportunity, and that can be used against our case for the Bangladesh Hindus.
Let me bring in SP Ved. No, let's keep this conversation. I want to come on specifics. Mr. Ved, does that mean Hindus should not reclaim other temples that were demolished by invaders or bigots who may have ruled India for centuries? To be a Vishwaguru, give up claims on temples? Is that what the implication is?
Gaurav, absolutely not. I beg to differ on this particular issue. As far as important places which have a special place in the hearts of Indians, particularly Hindus and all Sanatan Dharam religions, which constitute more than 80% of this country's population. Particularly, Mathura, Mathura is as important as Ram Janam Bhoomi, where Lord Krishna was born, and Kashi. Now, some of these places have a special sentiment attached to it. And Hindus all across the country have lot of historical reasons and a lot of Sanskriti attached to these places, and there cannot be any compromise on these issues.
Fair enough.
I understand we all have a respect for Sir Sanchalak. We all over the country, whatever he says, everyone, including me also, we all listen very carefully. But his concerns are very understandable, like a leader, what he is saying. But let me mention here, I was watching how situations are being exploited in the neighborhood of India. I was watching a video of how big screens have been put in Bangladesh, and they were showing the construction of Ram Temple, how Babri Masjid was demolished, and it was just negative.
So you're saying a narrative is being built? Okay, Deshratan Nigam, there are voices that say Hindus were in deep slumber for centuries. Hindus were in deep slumber for centuries, cut off from roots. A lot of sacrifices were made to raise awareness, not just about Ayodhya, but about, as Mr. Ved pointed out, about the Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi at Mathura and Baba Vishwanath temple at Kashi. So is Mohan Bhagwat also implying to be a Vishwaguru? Hindus should not reclaim Mathura and Kashi? Or is he saying nothing after Mathura and Kashi?
See, the fact is, what RSS does not give direction. It's an advice. And advice is something which some people may follow, others may not follow. That is what the entire situation today is. Now we have a constitutional system in the country where there are courts which will deliver their judgments, and nobody can take any individual's right to approach the court.
Yes.
And another factor which is very important, that our civilization and culture and society is based on truths. Truth must be established. And that is why I agree with Mr. Vaid, is that the roots that we have, the truth reveals, it has its ways of revealing itself. And once it reveals, the other side also must accept the truth. Once the denial of the truth takes place, then the friction starts. When the truth is based on evidence, literary customs, and so many things, once that is established, then people from both the sides, if one party is taking one step, others should also take at least that much of a step.
So that's a hope. That's a hope that the other party should also take a step. Because Sujata Pandey, initially, it was all about Ayodhya, Mathura and Kashi. 3 places of civilizational importance for Hindus, as Mr. Vaid also pointed out. Mathura, for example, as you well know, is the birthplace of Yogeshwar Sri Krishna. So for the sake of being a Vishwaguru or setting an example of harmony, clearly Hindus cannot be told to give up places of civilizational importance like Mathura and Kashi, or maybe even more.
No, that is why, Gaurav, I said that when Mohan Bhagwat ji spoke, he did not specifically speak about the cases which are already there in the court. That is about the Kashi Vishwanath, that is about the Mathura, also about the Dwarka, and also about Sambhal. So he spoke about the newer things, that the small petty things which people are using just to gain their own political ambitions done. So he was speaking about that particular intent, which is wrong in a social context. He never ever spoke about that we should not be fighting about our Aradhya place or our civilizational importance, because let it be Mohan Bhagwat or any leader for that matter. It is not that the leaders are fighting the case or any party is fighting the case. It is the people of India, the people of Bharat, the Hindus are fighting the case. You see the petitioners in any of the cases. It's not any party. Even in Sambhal, it's not BJP who is fighting the case or Yogi Adityanath who is fighting the case. It is some son which is from the Yadav community itself who's gone and had the petition done. So that being said, we should be clear that those are out of question. Those things that you mentioned about Kashi Vishwanath, Mathura, Dwarka, Sambhal also, because it is about the Kaliki avatar, and it has a civilizational value. Why are we forgetting? It is about the Dash avatar of Vishnu. This is not a small thing for us. But then, my question is, why mock? Why mock an appeal of harmony and unity by the opposition? Because the buck doesn't, you asked the first that, has he, is he hinting at the Hindus? No, he's not hinting at the Hindus. He's actually passed the buck to the Indian Muslim leaders and the clerics and other who keep on talking about the masjid. And even after Ram Janambhoomi is done, they say Babri Shaheed ho gayi hai, aur wo hamesha Babri thi aur Babri rahegi. He's actually passed the buck because the harmony, the flag of harmony doesn't stop at Hindus. It is not our responsibility alone that we keep the Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb,
interesting, you should point that out.
Country.
Sure, SP Vaid, Mr. Vaid,
because
some would ask,
one hand.
Yes, some would ask, there's no truth and reconciliation for Hindus in the land of the birth of the civilization if invaders who destroyed the most religious places of worship of Hindus, no justice when Aurangzeb was the ruler, no justice when the British were rulers, no justice during 7 decades of independence, when it comes to Mathura and Kashi. Ayodhya, fortunately, the Ram Mandir, was made. But I want to understand from you, if Hindus want the temple at Mathura and at Kashi or at Sambhal, for example, as a former DGP, will law and order collapse if Hindus seek legal course and seek justice to regain their places of worship?
Gaurav, as far as proper legal procedure is followed, as is being followed in case of Kashi and Mathura, and also we had same procedure followed. The case went up to the highest court, to the Honorable Supreme Court, even in case of Ram Temple. And we fought for how many years? The battle went for 500 years the Hindus were waiting, and even legal battle went for, I think, ever since we gained independence. And how many years? Similar thing. If that procedure is followed, proper court procedure is followed, I think the other side should also have no problem. Let them put across their viewpoint. Let the evidence be there. But I think Hindus have right as far as civilizational reclaim is concerned.
Fair enough.
We have been denied this during British period and even before that. And these are places of huge importance to the Sanatan Dharma. And I think...
So, Deshratam Nigam, absolutely. Is there also your appreciation then? Mohan Bhagwat is also telling other Indians, irrespective of their religion, that it takes two to tango. Sambal, for example, is the temple of the 10th avatar of Lord Vishnu, the Kalki avatar. If there is evidence that Babur destroyed the temple and made a mosque, what is Mohan Bhagwat hinting here or advising? Is he advising Hindus to give up claim, or is he telling Muslims that these are places of civilizational importance for Hindus, so a mosque can be made elsewhere in communal harmony? In communal harmony, let's amicably resolve this.
Well, Gaurav, in fact, if one talks about harmony, harmony is not a one man's phenomena. It is got to have multiple hands holding each other. And that is how harmony is established in the society. If one does not want to obey the court order, then there is a problem, because those are the constitutional remedies that we are available. And everybody has to follow the rule of law and the law of the land. That is the minimum denominator, common denominator that we have in our society, in a democracy that we have. And therefore, anybody who says he will not follow the court order or the judicial pronouncements or the judicial orders, and there will be a law and order problem, then he does not believe in the constitution of this country. And Mohan Bhagwat ji is very clear about this concept about harmony, that everybody has to take a step forward. And then the important questions arise. What is a mosque under Islam? There are clear tenets written out there. Then Places of Worship Act is still under challenge. Places of Worship Act itself provides an exception under Section 4 that ancient monument sites and remains are accepted under that particular act. And that has to be about 100 years old from 1958. And all of them are 300, 400, 500, 1,000 years old. So these are the questions that people have to, intellectuals of all the communities, panth or religion, have to apply their mind and follow the law of land, and then only harmony will prevail. And that is what I think was the message from Bhagwat.
So when Mohan Bhagwat, Sujata Pandey, when the RSS Sarsang Chalak says every day a new matter is being raked up, how can this be allowed? This cannot continue. India needs to show we can live together. Isn't he preaching to the converted? Hindus have lived with their places of worship not being available to them for a very long time. Now, shouldn't the same harmony and understanding come from those who've denied Hindus access to the places of civilizational importance?
Yes, actually, it's time. Actually, the government also clears its stand, Gaurav, because no matter what Mohan Bhagwat ji says or what we here discuss, I mean, it's important to know that what government stand on Places of Worship Act is also there. Because I think it's not, God's word. It was an act which was done for appeasement. It was an act which was done along with the personal law, along with the work of vote. All of that happened for a reason during Narasimha Rao's government. So it was not something to establish the harmony. It was in fact done in such a hurry that even the explanations were not even given in the parliament.
Okay.
Even the play, it's called puja sthal. It's not called prayer. So there is lot of confusion amongst that, how the law is being defined also.
Fair enough. So
to my mind, or to any lawyer's mind, it is actually something which is an injustice being done. Because if we say, Gaurav, that reservation is a thing that we should continue to undo the injustices of the past, how are we saying that we should just forget what's been done in the past and we had no one to send? We said, okay,
but
just
Mr.
stop
Ved,
it after,
Mr. Ved, there clearly has to be a hard
anything.
stop. There clearly has to be a hard stop at some point. Isn't Mohan Bhagwat right when he says you cannot look for a temple under every mosque in the country? So where does one stop? Ayodhya, Mathura, Kashi, or Ayodhya, Mathura, Kashi, Sambhal, Bhodshala, or does it actually then even go beyond, sir?
Gaurav, I agree with Mohan Bhagwat ji when he says you can't look for temple everywhere. That is absolutely fine. We must understand India is under, threat from many international forces, and they are waiting to for you to give an opportunity. What happened in Bangladesh was an experiment to be repeated in India. We all understand that. How deep state of America and other people like Soros, they are all just waiting that you give an opportunity. But places of importance, as you said, Mathura, Kashi, Sambhal, these are places of civilizational importance for Hindus. And I think the other side must also understand the way Congress government brought Places of Worship Act in the 90s was, I think, a great grave injustice done to Hindus. And
so that's a very important point. That's a very important point you're making.
There needs to be clarification. I think this act has been challenged in Supreme Court, and Section 4, as Mr. Nigam was saying, it makes it very clear that the places which are of our
protected by the Archaeological Survey of India. Yes. Absolutely, you've made a very valid point. But a debate has been sparked of the harmony that RSS chief talks about should also come from every side to make India the Vishwa Guru that we seek to be. Sujata Pandey, Deshratan Nigam and Mr. Vaid for joining me here on India Today. Many thanks. Big story coming in. The Special Task Force of the Assam Police has arrested 8 suspected terrorists of the Ansarul Bangla terrorist organization during simultaneous operations that have been carried out in Assam, in West Bengal and in Kerala on the night intervening December 17 and 18. Now, apparently this terrorist module with its handlers in Bangladesh was working to establish sleeper cells in India and across the country, particularly in Assam and Bengal. Those arrested had handlers in Pakistan and in Bangladesh and were working on plans to assassinate RSS leaders and other Hindu leaders to create communal friction in India. Now, one of the suspects, Mohammad Saad Radi, alias Mohammad Saab Sheikh, is a Bangladeshi national who was arrested in Kerala. 2 others also hail from Bengal and 5 are from Assam. Led by the Special Task Force Assam Chief Parthasarthi Mohanta, it was called Operation Praghat. This was carried out with active assistance both of the Kerala and the West Bengal police. Let's quickly listen in to the Special Director General of the Assam Police, Harmeet Singh, on these operations and why this module could have been extremely dangerous.
Operation Praghat started about 2 weeks ago when we received the intelligence inputs. They were studied in a prolonged and detailed manner. Our teams left for the various locations to identify these jihadis. It is very clear that there is a purpose and an idea formulated across the border on which these people are working. Right now, we have found in the last 2 weeks, and now that we've arrested these people and brought them into Guwahati last night, links up till West Bengal and, of course, Assam itself. And as Saad Radi was caught in Kerala, it's very clear that he was trying to set up something there too. Now, what we have to look at is further investigations.
It remains to be seen whether the government led by Nobel laureate Professor Muhammad Yunus cracks down on radical Islamists and ISI that's spreading its tentacles in Bangladesh, or will they continue to spread? We'll track that story very closely.